and welcome everybody. Is my audio working? Yes, it looks like it's working. Okay. I was recently like fiddling with in fact, you can see my camera is just out of frame a little bit. There we go. Just reworking everything. We had a UPS get turned off. Ryan, welcome. Robert, good to see y'all. Um, pause that. All right, I got chat up. Yeah, I had some technical difficulties, so I think I'm like a couple minutes late versus when I usually start. So sorry about that. If although it's off on a totally new time, anyways. Different day, different hour. So what's a few minutes amongst friends? So welcome everyone this evening. The summary today is actually the computer restart. Oh yeah, what could go wrong? Let's restart and install some updates on my test VM. That sounds safe and reasonable. Um, so oh oh my, look at that. See, this is what happens when it gets weird. What is this? Uh, okay. We're good. We're good. Nothing to see here. It's all good. Um, so we uh we have a couple options. Things we can do today. We have a couple different choices. And I did see one question that even came in via Slack. Let me pull that up. I think I saw from someone. So I would love to do some kind of more audience participation and let y'all decide what we should do. So we can work on more of the plugin I started last week, which was getting kind of like an automatic plugin downloader or malware downloader. So it will search malware hash services or malware services by hash. It will pull files from different places and automatically kind of open it up just by URL or by hash. So that's one possibility. It's not super exciting though, especially since I already kind of got a version of it working last time. So I feel like it's a little bit less interesting. Um, but that's one option. Oh, here, let me make let's see here. Is there a text editor here? So option one, and kind of make it just bigger. What's the make in bigin? View, zoom in. Is there a view zoom? No. I thought this was you gotta just go to preferences and crank up the font. So, so we're not gonna use a fixed width font. We want just just give me a sans. Sans regular, but let's embiggen it. All right, so we can do option one is this color's a little interesting. Finish plugin from last week. Two, we can find a binary ninja bug and fix it. So I would switch over computers and I would pull up a binge source and do some debug build and like find an actual bug to fix. I have no idea if I would succeed in the time of a slot, but if we chose the right bug, something kind of easy and simple, that might be an option two. Three is anything y'all want. So like I said, I got one already idea that was sent in, so I'm going to do that probably to start with. But if you have another one, we can do that as well. So let me pull up that. My son is calling me. Okay, let's message him and tell him I can't talk. All right, so where did that message go? So the one request was opening a new view from a blob of data. And this actually came up in Slack recently. So this is a good topic. And in fact, this is probably worth queuing up the recipes as well, because I don't know if I've asked in Slack, but if you don't watch there, I specifically want feedback on the cookbook. So yeah, we've got ideas for just if you start off with the API, just going to like api.binary.ninja. If you know the API you're looking for, you want to just search for a bunch of keywords, that can work. But really, the user documentation or user guide would tell you more about the concepts and the important things. Robert, that's a great idea too. Actually, that was also one of the things I was thinking about. Plugin deep dive. Yeah, so like let's try a few plugins and get them working. Play with them, show them off. That's a great one too. And that one's also nice because it's a good one to like clip out and snip it and put on as as separate videos, we could do kind of highlights of plugins. So that is a great suggestion. I like it. Yeah, happy if y'all have other ideas as well. Let me know, because that's a good one. Yeah. So I appreciate y'all's contributions. So the one suggestion I just got was, yeah, how do you open stuff from a binary blob? And I know this actually, I think it was an API help that came up today. Because like let's actually just do this by let's take a file and let's take like bin.ls and we'll just strip off the first first 1 byte. This is just my broken ls. So now if I open up in Binja, I should, let's see, ls broken, right? It's gonna, so in the UI, right, we're gonna get this view here where we're gonna get told, I don't know what this thing is. Do you want to give it a load address? Do you want to give it an architecture? It has a predicted architecture, which is neat. And I can just open it up and get like the sort of the default view. But what if instead I want to do that from the command line, right? So if I want to instead, if I try, you know, the normal way of doing this, you would do like bv equals binary ninja.open view. And if I just give it bin.ls, I'm going to get the usual bv functions. I'm going to get the usual stats there once it finishes analyzing. Oh, I don't have a lovely repr, it's a generator. So throw it through list and you can see all the functions in the binary. But if instead I do ls broken, unable to create new binary view, right? It's not a known file format. So how do we open this as a file? So first, let's double check this because I remember there's a bunch of different like command line APIs to open files. And so this says it will try to load a BNB if it has BNB. Otherwise, it's a get view of file with options. And there's also this load API too. Oops, I full screened accidentally. Control F. Is that the other one? I forget the other one. Is it load? Binary view type load. Oh yeah, there's actually a load one right off the main one, so I think that's the same thing. Okay, it's a load for this one will load, and this one, the source can be a bunch of stuff, and we can choose whether or not to update analysis. We have some options like settings and things. Oh, okay, so here, this is nifty. So you can even, in this example, you can use the load to just like shove in some assembly to disassemble it. So yes and no, Robert, like using it in this way is only for commercial, but I can just as easily do the same thing over here, right? So I can, right from the Binja console, I can actually do, you know, BV, I would use BV2 or like some other, if you call it just BV, and then you switch to a different tab and you open a file, it'll overwrite the variable in the Python context. So the local variable will be overwritten. So I would recommend you not, if you're doing it in the UI, do that, but you could do like bv2 is equal to load ls broken. Actually, here let's do the original. Let's do just the bv2 equals open view bin ls, right? Just to do that one that we did before, and it's analyzing. You notice you get a cancel button down here. So if there's something that's taking a long time in the Python console, right, exactly. What we call headless is literally just the ability to like do it from here without the UI going at all, which is where naturally you do a lot of like automation and scripting. But you can functionally do all of that in the non-commercial version as well. You just do it in here, and you can even do like a couple of forms of like pure automation. So like for example, if you put a plugin inside of your Binary Ninja plugins folder, it's going to be run automatically. So I can write some script here, bv3 or bv, doesn't matter, equals binary ninja.open view. Oops, we'll fix that. Oh man, I need a real editor here for sure, don't I? Actually, I had this. I think I had LunarVim, didn't I? No, I didn't. NeoVim? NVim? There we go. All right, so at least we'll get a little bit better. Okay, so uh, bv.file. I think it's original file name. bv.file.original file name. Yeah, so it's original file name has len bv.functions. All right, so I can put some like headless kind of automation script here, and if I just like restart Binja, and you can even have the script like kill Binja afterwards. Actually, that was a bad example because I did it. There's no standard out, but if I oh, is it a different path? I thought I dev. There we go. Binary Ninja. So if you just run it, it should do it from here. Let's see. Log default. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Did you guys catch it? Nope. Okay, nobody caught me. I made a mistake. Still in the background? It is. I forgot my F. It's not an F string without the F. So in this case, it's going to automatically run it to the log output. Oh, and I misspelled functions. All right, so again, this is not the best way to, I would write it in the UI first for this reason. But anyway, the point is you could do some automation like things even though they run in the UI, and you could have it like even the UI can pop up and it can run stuff and it can quit. So it's not quite as nice and doesn't support a few other things that Headless does, but you can still really get, right? So I still just built some automation, and you could have that script over lots of files if you felt like it, and then have it even kill the UI afterwards. So let's remove that script so we're not really confused when we see that later. And let's see. Yeah, so we're going to try that load API instead. So we've got binary ninja. And so let's do bv2 is equal to binary ninja.load user. No, it's ls broken. And let's see what this does. Okay, so it's the same thing. This one doesn't, given a file, it doesn't match the view. It doesn't look like, it looks like it requires it to be. Now it might be, I just need to specify the architecture. Let's see if we do that. So, except we're gonna do x60, actually this is x64, right? And so a little trick is to check the, actually here, I'm gonna do it even. Oops, nope, that's the one I wanted. Why would bin? Really? Really? That you thought Firefox was a better match for bin than Binary Ninja? I have some questions. That is a poor choice there. All right, so where was I? Oh, the architectures, right? So here's a nice trick. You can just do a list on the architecture class, and you'll get all the loaded ones, even if there's plugins and other things that kind of came up. For sure, Robert. Yeah, no worries. So this is x86 underscore 64, right? So I want to make sure I had the syntax right. So it's x86 underscore 64 is the register architecture name. So that one didn't work. All right, well, hold on now. Let's see here. Where was the docs? I closed down the browser, I think. So this one, because this was clearly not loading, like it's just loading the raw bytes of the file and it has no problems. So let's modify that one and just try that. So let's do BV. I'm not doing the context manager, like the Python thing where you say with whatever and it will automatically close it when you're done, because I'm sloppy and I'm not really building a real script. I'm just doing this interactively and I wanted to keep it around and not have to worry about scoping and stuff. So BV is equal to binary ninja dot load bytes from hex options load architecture. Okay, we'll get rid of this as BV. Okay, so that worked. Now there's no sections or segments or anything. That kind of makes sense though. So if we're loading a raw binary view, I think there is another way to do this, and this is what the I can go look at the right answer in Slack afterwards is. But I kind of wanted to like just work through this process a little bit myself by just poking the docs and trying it and trying a few things. Because I think that'll make for a better like recipe or cookbook, and we can show a couple of different examples and ways we can do stuff. So I could do raw file equals open ls broken dot read, right? I was afraid it wouldn't do that. Home v35 ls dash broken. That was the file name, right? Oh, right, Python 3, you crazy. I think you can just do. There's a way to do it here? No. Oh, it's RB. Read. Is it encoding equals? There's a way. It should be like, yeah, just treat this as UTF-8. Invalid start bytes. Wow, this is embarrassing. I'm sorry, I don't know how to Python. Python open raw bytes from file. It should just be there's something. Invalid start byte. Let's see what else wants to fix it for me. Or I could go out and grab one of my coworkers out there. Without specifying the encoding. Yeah, how do you do the encoding though? That is not helpful. Oh, binary mode? Oh, is that all it was? That's awkward. Yeah, that's what it was. Binary. Right. So now raw file should be bytes, right? Okay. So now I can just do BV is equal to load of raw file. And actually here, let's do options. So bytes from, yeah, so instead we can just do load raw file. There we go. Okay, so lesson learned. If we specify a string file name, and actually, where is my notepad? My handy dandy notepad, make some notes. Because I think that the API doc should really clarify that when you specify a file, it must be a valid binary view. That's a surprising behavior. I didn't expect that, and I don't think that's documented here. Let's look at it again. And also that this is wrong, for which load into a virtual memory space. So that needs to be tidied up a little bit as well too. So let's make a note of that, unless there's somebody from. Thank you, Robert. You got it. Yep, you were correct. I used to always do that out of like muscle memory, and oh, I got out of the habit of doing that. Thank you. Kudos for catching it first. Sorry, I missed it in chat. All right, so the load API is a typo, and also clarify valid file formats versus raw or mapped. All right, and that's another thing. So let's go look at this and play with it. If we right, so if we did the raw file, we got a binary view now, and actually, did it do analysis? bv.functions. I keep misspelling functions. That's what tab complete is for. Yeah, so it looks like it did the right thing. And if I just open now, it will not be exactly, well, actually, if I open this one, it should be exactly the same. Open this, and you'll notice this one, it actually predicts the architecture. I don't know how to actually get access to it. That's a good question. API for predicted architecture. That's something I'm curious about. So, and you'll notice this is going to create a bunch of garbage, a bunch of junk, and it's going to take a little while scanning everything. Because we don't have a normal file format, we have a bunch of headers, metadata, which would normally be parsed over and skipped. And in fact, there's there would be tables of imports, for example, and all sorts of stuff that if you squint hard enough, maybe it could be considered a function. And so, when you're just given a binary blob, you don't know what for sure it is. I thought actually just looking at this, Binja did a really good job identifying, because if I actually open the real deal and compare the two, we can see. So one, again, you'll notice that this should be much faster, right? Because we spend a lot less time analyzing garbage things, right? So it was quicker, that's for sure. But if you actually look at where the identified functions are, oops, wah, wah, I hit the wrong thing. Yeah, ls is too short. I hit the X. Actually, here I'll use the keyboard too. Is it Control Shift page up, page down? There's a hotkey. I thought it was Control Shift page up, page down like a browser. Let's see. Next tab. Control Tab. Cool. Oh, I like it. All right. Yeah, so again, if we look at this, we can actually see like the code identification did a pretty darn good job, where this is the heuristic, just trying to analyze and figure out without knowing anything about the file format, like where the functions were and where they weren't. So not bad at all. That's pretty great. I'm pretty confident if we were to spin up any other tool and watch them do that, we would not see nearly the yeah, so 371 in the correct one. Now that's interesting though. This one gets 278, and yet over here 431. List bb.functions. Let's slice off the first 10. Huh. 1E08. So if we're in so do I have settings? Let's see. I don't know if I have any default settings that were used. None of these should impact the load. And actually, yeah, so I'm actually curious. I wonder if the default if the UI does something slightly different. So if I open LS Broken again, and what it puts in here. Oh, I know exactly what it does. Yeah. So this is a good point. You'll notice, so under load options here, there is a segment defined here, right? And it's got some permissions. If you open a file in this is actually, yeah, a really interesting thing. If you open a file in the UI, we kind of want to like default to do things as like easily and automatically as possible for you, like just to sort of do the right thing principle. And so this is a good example where we used to not do this, and people would be like, I opened up a thing and it didn't find any code, like it didn't find anything. And the answer is, well, right, because you didn't define any segments where you said there might be code or data or any of these other kind of permission models. Like normally when you have a raw blob, there parts of it would be executable, parts of it would be not, and presumably you may have some way of kind of figuring that out. You don't want to just tell it to go find code everywhere, and so it'll be less accurate that way. But if I'm just lazy and I don't care and I want you just to try to find code everywhere, that's the sort of behavior you would see here. So you notice the segment descriptions. This does have that defined. It in the UI just specifically says, okay, most of the time let's let the user be lazy, and just do it that way. Automatically create a giant segment that says it could contain code or data in all this, and then trigger the analysis. So if I go back, so segment descriptions, yeah, you say it's overridden. It's actually like the original doesn't have any binary view information or segments, and then this has defined it. So I suspect, let's see. I suspect we'll see, so it's readable but not writable and executable for the whole thing. So now in the UI, if I open the broken one, I suspect we'll see differences. No? Okay, well that was my hypothesis. And my hypothesis was disproven. So actually I don't know why That's a good question. I actually don't know why that is. I guess I could diff them. Well, I already did. I already did look at. There's obviously this was I didn't get the architecture wrong, did I? Computer architecture. Aha! I did. I got the architecture wrong. Well, that makes complete sense then. Oh, gee. I wonder wonder why I got the architecture wrong. Look at that. Okay. Uh, try that again. Yeah, so that was the UI. Okay, so the default settings in headless and the UI are going to load the same segments. All right, that makes more sense. Well, look at that. It was user error. I should stop holding it wrong. So that's interesting. So it actually, if you treat this as x86, this might look a little bit more like actual code or a function than if you treat it as x64, because this is one of the offsets that got created as one there. So okay, so I think, yeah, like that's one way to do this. Now I'm gonna go look at the answer. I want to see what was the what is the right answer. Yeah, if you use get view of file. Okay, so the other API is bv2 is equal to binary. Let's just do this first. Let's do binary ninja dot get view of file. It's actually, I think it's under binary view type. Yeah. Oh, so here's another little tip you may or may not have seen me do before. You can just put, I thought you could put that. Can you not? Can you not put a question mark? Oh, no, because I'm not in the UI. Right. If I was in the UI, I could have done that. I could have done this. Get view of file. Binary view type dot get view of file. You just have a question mark at the end to get help on it instead of having to type the whole thing. So, okay. Let's look at the help for this one. Yep, it's even telling us the sort of recommended pattern. This is good, and that's what you'll see most of the time is that with open view as. And again, it describes what I already said before, which is it's automatically going to clean it up. But I'm just prototyping and lazy, and I'm not worried about memory leaks. And keeping around some of these references, or we're going to be restarting occasionally anyways. So we take a string file name, same argument. So now I think the issue though is, we'll just do the same thing. bv2 is equal to binary view type dot get view of file, and we specify home v35 ls broken. That's the file. Update analysis true, sure, why not? We don't need a callback. That should be okay. Right, so that because we update analysis, I thought we did pass in true. Well, we can just do bv2.update analysis that way. Aha! Yeah, this is the difference here. Okay, so if we do binary view type get view of file, you're literally just doing a mapped view, right? You're not doing a map view, rather. You're just doing the raw view. And you can see this in the UI a little bit, right? Where I'm in a mapped view, because even though I opened this file, which didn't have header, didn't have a loader like ELF or PE or Mako. I mean, it does, right? Because it's actually a Mako, an ELF that I opened on my machine. By deleting the first byte, I've essentially prevented Binary Ninja from treating it as an ELF. So it's just having to treat it as some blob. But by default, the UI, again, to try to make things easier, maps it into memory, even if it's at 0, right? The default load address is still 0. Excuse me, and you see these data references because, again, if it loads at 0, there's other things in the binary when it's doing analysis that look like they could be referencing and loading data from here. They're not really. Like, maybe they're actually relocations or imports or something that was modified, and, so they're they wouldn't do that in the real file. but it can't tell because it is missing that extra context. It doesn't know the correct load addresses, which is going to throw off the analysis. So, but the fact that this is like actually marked as readable and executable is part of this mapped process. And you can even see if I open the original file, I get both the raw and the mapped. So if I get rid of the mapped and then open the raw one, there is no architecture, there is no functions, there's no anything, because this is just like it's a hex editor. All right, I've told it like here's just the thing, and so now I see are just strings are annotated. Anything that looks like it might be an ASCII string here. Welcome, Fox. I know it's crazy. It's Thursday. I'm going to a magic show tomorrow. Yes, I'm taking my wife, and for my birthday, I bought myself tickets to a dinner and a show. So go see a magician. If anybody else is interested in magic, go like Kostya Kimlet is in Orlando, not far from here, and is a really good magician. So I'm excited. So yeah, it conflicts with the stream tomorrow, so I'm doing it today instead. So y'all get some Thursday binge at time. So I apologize if it's going to keep you up late and you're in Europe and you have things to do on Friday versus the weekend. So yeah, that's what my plans are. That's why we're here on Thursday. So the raw view, like I said, is literally just like a hex view. So this is what we got here with our BV2. Actually, is it BV2.type? Is there a types type? I'm trying to remember how to get the view type. If there's a way, I'm sure there is. I just don't remember how to find out. It's like a raw view versus I wouldn't even know where to get that info out. Let's see, binary view. Yep, that's under B's. View type, that's a good hint, right? So let's try that. bv2.view type. Yes, there we go. Okay, yeah, exactly. So it is a raw view. In fact, now that we've opened this BV here, we can do BV by itself, and we should get the same thing. But if we go back to our other one where we had the mapped view, and the map view is also what allows you to have like rebasing. So it's what lets you load it into memory different addresses. So I could rebase this binary, and because it's a map view, I can do that. Just pick a number and rebase it, and ta-da! But I don't believe you can do that on a raw view. So let's confirm that. Let's try this. Rebase, nothing happens. Although it probably should. Oh, there it is. Binary view contains no segments, nothing to rebase. And then it even tells you exactly how to do it. Fantastic. Thank you, Fox. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be fun. I am a child at heart. This is why, yeah, all of my hobbies are in alignment with that. So yeah, so that's the difference between a raw view and a mapped view, which reminds me, that's probably a good topic for a recipe. So that's a good one to like show a little snippet and kind of example. So one distinguishing characteristic between these recipes and the cookbooks, as you notice, like the idea is that you can explain little concepts, right? And you can kind of chain together different like ideas and it's examples of code, but it's not just exact API usage. It's also more about like teaching the important concepts. So I think a great topic here is going to be, although, we get too many, we'll have to start organizing and thinking about how we kind of can keep them easier to find, but you can always see like the specific table of contents. So I think adding one that says, how do I load raw bytes into a binary view or Fiverr firmware image, and basically do what we just did. So cool. Any folks have questions about that process there? Oh, you know what? I forgot to ping OA Labs. Although they may be less interested in, although that's not true. Like there's plenty of times where you get like a shellcode blob in a piece of malware, right? And you would want to load it and analyze it. And in fact, I think that's one of the nice things about Binja is that it actually makes that process really easy. So like if, for example, I pull up, what's the one shellcode, exploitdb, sure, that'll work. So if we take this shellcode, and we literally just copy this like hex string, this is a great example where from hex, no, I just want to paste. I think ASCII, paste from ASCII escape string. Yeah, there we go. Like you can literally see the shellcode right in here, and we can create a function using P and analyze that kind of inline. It's trying to jump to some offset that doesn't exist. Is that the case? It's probably because it was x64 code. Let's go back and look. Yeah, it is. It's x64, which is kind of fun because watch, if I go back to the hex view and say, no, actually make a function and don't use that architecture. Instead, use this. You can actually overlay them. So you could actually have multiple bits of shellcode. Yeah, and look, you can see even right here, right? So there is a string. Is it R? Yeah. Can turn it into a string immediate. You can see it's bit sh being pushed on the stack, and then it's gonna do a syscall. So that's the little kind of slicing and dicing that Binja is actually really excellent at. So if you have like this multi-stage malware and it's got, you know, a bunch of JavaScript arrays, and then it, you know, creates a buffer memory and then like we'll drop it to a file and then somebody else runs it. You can actually do that. So if we watch this, copy as 32, let's just do 8-bit elements, a C array of 8-bit elements, right? And then I paste that in. So if you've got something formatted in this format, you can actually paste from that into Binary Ninja from 8-bit elements. Oh, it failed. Wait, did I do paste from 8? I wonder if, I think because I had a variable name at the top, I don't remember if I think it needs just this. But you can even like, you can paste from a lot of these different, yeah, formats and stuff, which is really pretty nifty. It can like simplify the process of slicing and dicing that stuff. So that was kind of fun. All right. I like Robert's idea now of doing plugins. But let's see what messages we got. Okay, so yeah, happy to take other questions, Fox. So yes, we absolutely redirect standard out. In fact, you noticed that, oh yeah, you may have been a little bit late to the stream because of the different time, but I created a simple plugin here and then I launched you know, this plugin will be loaded automatically by Binary Ninja. So if I restart Binary Ninja, you notice it prints it here. So we've clearly hijacked anytime a plugin runs, it's standard out, because standard out from the plugin would actually be, if we left that alone, would be really bad, because you'd have to, like, I couldn't have run Binary Ninja in the UI in my operating system. I would have had to launch it from a command line. And if I had done that, then you would have lost it. So we do redirect standard output. I actually don't know off the top of my head which syscalls we do, or which, you know, it's gonna be OS dependent on how that happens. But I can certainly ask, or if you ask in the public Slack, I'm sure we can double check it. We'll get somebody else to go look into the code. That's funny, Arnaud. Yeah, that you were talking about Kappa, because I was just talking about that with Shusheng, my coworker who's been working on the debugger, and we were looking at Kappa. It has a really nice kind of like query language and syntax, and so yeah, one of our goals is to implement like a Binary Ninja backend so you can query against it using our analysis, and then ultimately, it would be nice to have the whole front end and the UI and stuff. Although that might be a little bit more work, because I think porting the UI code would probably be a little bit more. But yeah, so I was actually poking through the Kappa source code just this morning to look into it. I don't think it would be super hard, although it is really funny because a lot of the like wrapper type stuff that they do, just to like they wrap the, you know, get next function API just to get like what we have as bv.functions. So they have a whole bunch of like wrapper features that are completely not necessary if they had, you know, written the backend for Binja. So yeah, I think it would be a relatively straightforward thing to port, but haven't done it yet. So cool. All right, so yeah, the next thing up, like I said, as per Robert's request earlier, going to play with some plugins. In fact, this is good for me because I am kind of taking a list. I don't know if y'all have noticed or even um, if how many of y'all follow us on Twitter, but we've been really consistently tweeting the last several weeks. And one of the things that we're doing is we're trying every Monday we highlight a different plugin. So we talked about Lighthouse and BNCov plugins this Monday. Wait, sorry, that was last week. Yeah, this Monday we talked about Tonto. Actually, that's a great one. So let's oh yes, Ryan, stack strings. They're already so yes, there are definitely plans for them, and this thing here will improve it for many of them. It's in testing right now on dev, but it also has I think it needs a little bit more work. It's a couple more features before it's enabled by default, but it will be. The plan is for it to be turned on by default. Honestly, the setting may just even go away once it's working fully and fully tested. So this outlining feature will basically replace things, where code might do something like yeah, so like move EBP plus some number 10 OX move, like you'll see a bunch of stuff like this, move byte whatever 41, right? And then the next line of assembly will be like at the next offset it's just going to do 42 or whatever. It's going to build like right, like stack string. So in case when you see things like that, it'll just get turned into like a mem copy var whatever on the stack, and it'll have like AB or yeah, AB, right, string. It'll actually make this kind of fake mem copy thing. So if you remember when I showed off, I don't know if you caught that stream, but on one of the previous streams when I kind of demoed that feature, so it has been on stable since it's been in since the last stable. It's just not on by default, I think. But that one there will yeah, really improve that kind of situation, and it's already there. It's going to get better. It's not flawless yet. In fact, we've even been testing it and comparing it to how IDA does some of their recovery, and we're already outperforming them in a couple ways in some of the tests. So that's a really nice feature that, like I said, not quite ready, but you can test it now. So feel free to do that. In fact, I think I probably have the sample that I tested this with on the stream. Actually, I think I did it via an enterprise. I did that with enterprise. So let me see, Binary Ninja Enterprise. I don't remember where I have that. Desktop, CD downloads. I know I had, yeah, I know I had a file specifically to demonstrate that feature. I don't think it was this one. No, I don't want the binary. Yeah, so it's not that one. It was one. There was one that specifically demonstrates. Actually, you know what the easiest way to show this off is going to be without trying to go dig through and find that. That binary is. Let's see. Automatic outlining right here. There we go. And this is where it talks about enabling that setting. So it makes these like fake, you call these, make a new section called synthetic built-ins, right? Because these are not real functions. We're just creating like a fake mem copy, fake mem set that we can then reference. And so you've got like type information and cross references to that. And we can replace the code that did those single byte loads. And then, so here's an example, right? Where it used to do this and it gets turned into that, which is way better. So, yep, great question. And we've got a really, really good answer there for that one. So yeah, all right, so back to plugins. Let's go. So let's check out Tonto actually, because I don't play with Tonto nearly enough. So Tonto is one that Kyle worked on. And oh, it's worth noting that you used to have two different buttons down here. There's just the one now. So install will both enable and install it. Oh, this is sad. I don't know what it's doing here, but the README doesn't work. You can always just click the title. And it's, yeah, the image isn't being loaded, but decompiler intrinsics. Yeah, that's not a bad name. Although, so the problem with that is that we use intrinsics when we're specifically talking about architectures and lifting and CPU like instruction intrinsics. So we use them and the idea is that you can I guess it's kind of a similar concept, but instead of lifting the x86 next round instruction, which exists in right, sorry, instead of lifting the x86 AES next round instruction, as whatever awful abomination of moving, you know, bytes around and vector operations or whatever other stuff that one does. It just treats it as an intrinsic, as a black box, and says, yeah, there's like this AES next round instruction, and it just calls that. And all it tries to worry about is like what it taints. So it needs to know it. You treat it as a black box, but that happens more like the CPU instruction level. This is about like rewriting a whole chunk of IL into a new thing, and so because they're kind of different enough concepts, I don't know if we want to give them that same name, but it's not a it's a fair thing to do. It actually does. Um, I'm curious if yeah, is that the name that IDA calls them? Yeah. So, well, this could be, it depends on how they do this. Yeah, so are they talking about the native instructions or are they talking about replacing? Yeah, so this is still more talking about like the second type that I was talking about, where it's a specific CPU instruction that they're going to replace with this intrinsic where it looks like a call. Um, so yeah, but like I totally get why you're using that description for what I described. Um, it's a kind of same kind of thing. You're sort of black boxing it and just saying, hey, this thing has some meaning and I'm going to represent it in a way because memcopy means something to the user. It doesn't change the analysis at all. The analysis does the exact same thing as before. It knows it's just bytes going into the onto the stack, but the user can kind of just see the summary and know what it means as like a black box. So it has some similar concepts. But yeah, all right. So let's see. We've got Tonto installed. It's enabled. And actually, you know what? I don't know why this image isn't loading. Hold on. Do other things load? So there's supposed to be, yeah, so other stuff loads. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go bug Kyle. Tonto and plugin manager. One of these days, yeah, I need to get like some background music, I decided. I'm gonna work on that. It could be a little more chill some days where I'm just kind of hanging out. Thanks for staying up, Fox. I know it's late. Have a good one. Next time we do it, hopefully we'll be back in the regular time for it. Actually, we'll see. I don't know. Next time it may be a totally different time because I'm trying to get Shusheng to come on the stream, and he and I just want to geek out on the debugger a whole bunch. So I know Ryan, you've been talking to him, but like I want to get Shusheng just to show me and to show off a bunch of people on the stream. We just want to play with the debugger a whole bunch, and try it out. So it would be fun to have him kind of walk us through how that works. So we might be on kind of a weird schedule for a little bit to try to get his, because he's exactly like 12 hours off my time zone. So that limits our times that we can do stuff. All right, so Tauntaun image is not working. All right, but the plugin itself should. So cool. Yeah, I figured you'd appreciate that. And he values your feedback too. So thanks for engaging with him on that. It's always nice when you can sit down with somebody and really talk through and see what they're doing. You can show them stuff. You can see how they're doing things that we can improve. So, all right. So let's open up. What's a good challenge to use Tonto with? I wonder if let's just get some random crack me, right? I need, let's see, crack me's.1. Do I need to log in to get a random crack me? Let's find out. No, auto it? Absolutely not. I don't want to waste time doing that. Unix, Linux, C or C++? Linux crack me. Sounds good. Let's try it. I don't know the I guess. Oh, it's not infected. I think they specifically do crack me is that one. Okay. So let's extract this to a new folder called samples. Just extract it. I probably should have also extracted this. Yes, please. And let's close these down. All right. So we got a crack me. Let's look at the readme. Oh, SSE 4.2. Ouch. All right. Well, let's see what that looks like. So we got ourselves a crack me. Nice. Oh, glad you're excited about that, Robert. That's great to hear. All right. Oh, that's interesting. You know what? We should have identified the main. Why didn't we navigate to the main by default? That's weird. So yeah, again, more C++. I don't really want C++, but let's try it. Let's see how it goes. So the way that Tonto really shines is it's about program slicing, right? So it's about taking like a larger control flow graph and saying, okay, this is that kind of big. I don't really care about maybe every branch here. Maybe I only care about ones that touch my data. Like some of these maybe like error handling, right? And if my variable doesn't doesn't get used in that path, then like I don't actually care. So what you can do is, let's see if we can find something appropriate. Like whatever this, okay, this is like the pointer for this thing. So let's see, plugin, or no, is it Tonto? Where's, did I install? I installed Tonto, right? Manage plugins. Tonto. Tonto is enabled. Let's restart, reopen. Let's see. I love that it's so fast to do that now. It's so nice. Plugins. Why no Tonto? Tonto, I need. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I didn't have any errors like loading up. Did I miss something? Hit backtick to trigger that. Analysis starting. What? All right, hold on. All right, that's a whole lot of undefined instructions. Yeah, it's all those SSE instructions. They're gonna be gross. Stop. Yeah, that's annoying for that purpose. But why is Tonto not loaded? That's the hold on, I don't need that file. I just need a restart. Let's open ls and just restart and reopen. Oh, hold on, I have debug log level on. This is a little chatty for a reason, I think here. Yeah. Switch that back over to info. Okay, far better. So let's look at this. Wait, did I not delete my plugin again? Wait, this is a string plugin? I knew I was gonna forget that. Go away, bogus plugin. Okay. Did Tonto load? Tonto loaded. Oh, that's right. I think it shows up in the action. Does it not? Yeah. So I don't use it very nearly enough. This is why we're doing it on stream, right? Actually, let's go back to that crack me. Not a huge fan of C++ crack me's for this, but yes, you don't have to actually do it with the API with command line options now. After Peter did the log refactor, you can just do it right from there, which is great. You can right click in here and set the level, and you can change that on the fly. That's my favorite part about this, right? Like I learned stuff from this, like literally when people will show things and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Just watching somebody else, even if you've been using Binge a lot, there's always new stuff to learn. So a lot of little settings you can fiddle with in there for logging. And it's even more powerful if your plugin, for example, has its own like scope. So if you're using the log.log API, right? You can create, you create a logger. No, it's not log. It is like you create a logger object and then you use that to log, and you can filter automatically just to that. Logger, right? So logger. So my log is equal to log.logger, for example. No, I wanted an instance of it, right? All right, session ID. Don't know. Oh, session ID, is that like Oh, if you have a plugin, you have multiple sessions of that plugin, I guess. I don't know if it's an integer. So let's look at the, oops. Let's look at the type on that. Help. So the question mark doesn't work if it's a class, I guess. All right. So what is the, it's an int. Yeah, so session ID is an int. Oh, thank you, Arno. Yes, yes. Create logger. I probably could have done it by instantiating it via the other one too, but this is better. My plugin, right? Yeah. So my log is equal to that, and my log dot log stuff here. So that's gonna, no, it was not, was it? Typo. That was my message. Oh, the log level, right? So I've got to do log level dot log info, I think. Info log, all the way around. All right, and now my message. So now you've got my plugin has this my message, and the cool thing here is you can actually go to like your plugin and just see the logs from your plugin. So that's really nice. The way the login system got I think that was like a 3.0 era change. That was a nice one though. Okay, so back to Tonto. We've got this C++ string that gets created, and what I'm gonna try to see, Tonto slices, but I have to like add it to the basic block first. So Tonto. Oh, I think maybe that's what it is. You have to show it first, and then once you've enabled it, yeah, that's right. You have to say, hey, I want to like do Tonto to kind of opt into it. I still think it should probably this maybe was it under view. Hold on, let me try something. I'm actually just curious. I want to see what the trying to make sure like we get this as easy to use as possible. So if I've installed Tonto, it's here. And if I view Tonto slices, okay. So yeah, like I guess naturally I would have looked for it in plugins, but it adds a view. I wonder if it's maybe documented though. Sorry, this is like it's the developer me that I'm learning to become, right? Where it's this, as soon as something isn't intuitive for me or I make a mistake on it, I made it like, oh, are other people going to have that problem? And how do we make them never have that problem again? So does the README, does the blog post on it? Let's go check that out. Yeah, I think this is like kind of in the weeds. So to like, I feel like this should be a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm making a note here. Basically, I think we can just, all we have to do is expose this, the fact that you can open this view. Where was I here? Yeah. The fact that you can open this view via the plugin menu. Tonto should have its own plugin submenu. Don't worry, I'm gonna do this even all the public plugins that I look at too. I'm sure I'll be doing PRs if I do too many other plugins. So Tonto slices is on. Okay, so now I should be able to say Tonto add variable to slice. Well, not yet. But I think I have to do add graphs or something. Let's see, Tonto. Well, maybe I should read the blog post a little bit closer. Or maybe Arno, you can help me do it, because I think you may have used it before. View show slices. Oh, actually here, creating block slice. I think this has changed, by the way, too. This is interesting. We should edit the blog post. Says tools, and that's been renamed to the plugin. Rather, it's been split. So, all right, yeah. So search Tonto in the command palette. That's how we found it. Tools, block slices. Select a line, then go to block slices and add block to slice. How would it, but a variable though, is the variable, oh, that's block slices, okay. Variable slices, so variable slices, can we see that? Live. Only work in high level IL and SSA. Okay. Am I in? I should be in high level IL. Yeah, okay. So that shouldn't be a problem. One fun trick is that the mini graph view down here, actually, this is kind of a cool trick. Not many people realize that. See how it highlights, like as I highlight stuff in here, that's like this graph is live and updating. So I can just click the variable here. So prior to like Tonto, this is how it would work. You could look here and then you could like zoom in on like cross references to that variable. Was this one? No. And then down here, this one here, right? So maybe you have to do it here. Tonto, clear selection. Tonto. Maybe have to work in the variable definition, so add variable to slice. Well, that didn't do what I expected either. Clear selection. Tonto. Add block to slice. Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, like a basic block-based slice will show you the fact that this block is in the path at the beginning of the function. Everything must come that hits below it must come through it. And the only way through the top of the function is also through it means that we're kind of getting everything if we just do the block-based highlighting. So let's clear the, actually, you know what? I want to kind of do this with the command palette because these are a little more tedious. Let's grab one of these in here where I think it'll be more interesting. So if we add this basic block, slice, add block to slice. Okay. Yeah, so the only difference here, because this one only has this whole path down here, and the one that I selected is that this one is unreachable. Like if we hit this block, we know we couldn't have done that. And actually, yeah, part of it's because like even over here, this tells me already, yeah, this already tells me there's a loop here, right? So this is a good example where Tonto is useful. I could just say this block here is interesting to me. And because of this highlighting, I know that one, I never hit this block, which kind of seems obvious when you look at it. But more importantly, why is everything else highlighted? Well, everything else is highlighted because there's some loops down here that are causing control flow to come back around where I could have gone into these other basic blocks, right? And so because there is this sort of loop thing, you don't know if maybe the first time through you go down this path, but the next time through you could actually come down this other path. Next time through you could go down this one. So you could reach every other basic block from that particular block, right? For this function. Let's look at some other, actually, let's just, yeah, browse through for like big functions. Okay, here, this one looks more interesting. Let's just, from, again, visually, so let's clear Tonto clear, and let's Tonto block. And let's see if we can just see anything. So this one, again, there's obviously this is a big giant parsing loop. So we don't have kind of pass through it that couldn't also go through this block. You know, you might see like a giant switch statement if it was just a single kind of handler or something like. You would not see that, right? You'd see a much smaller slice that would go through it. But I think, let's see, is this basically going to be then just the whole thing? Yeah, because all of these functions, all these blocks are reachable because of that loop in there. We're not going to get as much of a slice. So like this is a good example because loops make like program slicing really annoying. They make it hard. Wait, can't recover basic block. Oh, that's interesting. Please try again. And now wait a minute. What do you mean? Please try again. I've never seen that error. Can't recover basic block. Please try again. Is that a Tonto error? I think that's a Tonto error. I'll have to go look into that. I'm not sure what that is. And I still want to get, hold on, I want to get the variable highlighting working because that's way more interesting. Let's go back to main. Let's clear, or Tonto clear. And let me see here. I don't select it from like the variable view, do I? I don't think so. Actually, let's go back and look at the blog post again. We'll read the docs and we'll see what it says about variables. Yeah, so like the variable slice should let me. Well, maybe let me just try SSA mode. Let's try high level IL SSA just in case. Tonto, add variable to slice. No function. Whoa. Oh, was there just... Okay. I wonder if that's just a bug in Tonto here. Is that triggering when we try to do that? So I think we may have just run across the Tonto bug. So clear the selection. Tonto, add variable to slice. Variable object has no attribute var. Huh. Oh, you know what? Let's just try stable. Let's just see if this is a dev change somehow. I don't remember this. I don't remember this API changing in a while, so I'm betting that's not the case. Yeah, exactly, Robert. That's kind of my gut feeling here too. Is that might be. So let's hit 3.2 and let's just try it really quick. I highly recommend having multiple copies of Binja around. It's nice if something like happens, you can just easily switch this around. So here's this. Oh, that's, by the way, that's a small little bug you'll notice because like the Tonto sidebar is a plugin. The save layouts tried to save it and it made a new pane, but it's not the right pane. Right, so that's fine. Oops, now, oops, where am I? Right, variable 138. Tonto, add variable to slice. Hmm. No error. But also, oh no, wait a minute. This is totally different behavior though. Interesting. Let's see here. Let's do this. Let's clear selection. Okay, deletes all the highlights. Let's pick one of, if there's any of these basic blocks that, yeah, actually this one is not in a loop. So this is maybe a slightly more interesting one here. Let's do this one, Tonto, add block to slice. Yeah. Maybe. Why is this one? I don't get the red color. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the blog post. Let's see. That is interesting. All right, so it looks like, and which this is the old one, right? This is not the, yeah. So here's our 3.2 we've been working on. Interesting. Fun fact: one of our release steps is actually running each of the official plugins and making sure they still work. So I'm pretty confident to add each one of the stable points that the plugins all work, but not always in between if we've done something. I don't know what changed here though. This is weird. So but it does look like 3.2 at least is, and actually what I really need to do here is I have not done that's true, Robert. I may have walked myself into uh I may have walked myself into all of this. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, and by the way, you'll also notice that latest dev, which I'm on here, is already labeled 3. Oh, this is not latest dev. I didn't update my Binja. I'm behind a little bit. What I was about to say is if you are on the latest dev, it's already 3.4. Boop. So instead of waiting until the very last minute to bump the version to whatever the next release is going to be, for some weird reasons, and it's not worth going into, we decided to do it a little bit earlier. May or may not be the way going forward. There's some advantages and disadvantages either way, but at least for this particular release, you're already using 3.4 right now if you're on latest dev. I'm still cracking up over that. Fixing the bugs thing. Yeah, I didn't. I might be able to do everything on my checklist today. Could be. So, okay, I don't really want SSA form. Just high level L is good, thank you. All right, so we updated. This should be actual latest dev now. Although I don't expect it to make a difference for Tonto anyway. Tonto slice, and then Tonto add block to slice just for kicks. I wonder if maybe did the high. Oh, Oh, I think I know what happened. I think somebody filed something recently on color blindness, didn't they? Or is that maybe just an issue that was filed? There was a that might be the difference. GitHub.com. Somebody, I think Shusheng was specifically filing let's see, colorblind. Might be blindness, colorblind. Yeah. No, but that one's still open, so I don't think he actually changed that yet. Yeah, because it's actually, right, it looks like almost that the dev version is like colorblind aware. Because right, we're running the same version of Tonto, so this means Tonto's highlighting should be, well, here's another way to do this. Let's do current basic block dot highlight. It's currently cyan, so that's not anything as a result of the color coding. That's something in the analysis has changed and is causing it to actually get highlighted differently. Okay, so here we can diff this down. So let us go to Binary Ninja 3.3 stable, and it's not that version yet, but it will be. So first we have to just kill it. Actually, no, honestly, it's funny. We can just let it go. Usually I'm so used to turning this feature off, but actually what I wanted to do is exactly what it's going to do by default. When you're doing this and you're juggling multiple different versions of Binary Ninja, one of the things that can be annoying if you don't want this behavior is that it will just default auto update and default go to the latest stable. Even if you download a brand new dev build, it'll try to like downgrade you. So we do actually plan to make some changes to that. But now I am going to turn that off because now that I've got 3.3, I don't want it to auto update. But I do want to see what this thing looks like. So, no, I was already right there. Tonto slice. Close my bogus view thing. Tonto variable to slice. Okay, so graph is still empty. I don't see anything here, so I'm not sure. Okay, it's not sure why that was not working, but block to slice. Okay, so 3.3 also has this behavior. So something between 3.2 and 3.3. Changed the highlighting or changed the analysis in such a way that it gets highlighted differently. So why? Let's see what it says about that in the blog. So it's, yeah, we're doing block highlighting. Okay, what is the cyan and the red? Yeah, it's trying to do reachability, which would be weird if reachability itself changed. I don't think we changed those, any of the APIs that should have impacted it, but now I'm curious. Though I have a feeling this would be kind of hard to troubleshoot on the fly, especially because I've never looked at the Tonto source code before. So I mean, just looking at this, it's basically blue is dominating. Wait, which is the block that it was triggered on? It was triggered on this one? No. Function, it appears to be searching through a linked list. Hey, Cod, welcome. Right now, I am playing with Binary Ninja. I'm looking at different plugins. I'm one of the developers. I'm actually normally like talking the whole time, so it's kind of rare that I'm quiet and I'm reading as I look through this. This is a reverse engineering stream, and so I'm usually working with Theron or building plugins or doing something with Binary Ninja. This particular plugin that I'm playing with is highlighting all the basic blocks in the control flow. Oh, it is worth noting. Kyle actually pointed this out to me recently. We don't always like make a big deal out of it, but this is not something that literally any other tool has, right? You can do it at the disassembly level. You can have graph-based view, but no one else has like essentially decompilation and also graph-based. right? So you get all the prettiness of decompilation with things like, strings and function calls, but you still get the graph view. So for certain structures, I think they do actually look nicer in a graph when you've got a little, you can kind of zoom out and get a little more, structure, or you can look at like the mini graph and you can see things there. And then other things like this maybe is an example where I would find this probably an easier construct to read, right? Like, so sometimes like there's a couple of like ifs or nested if else's and stuff. Um, awesome. Thanks, Scott. Well, welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm normally streaming on Fridays, but today we're doing a little bit early on Thursday. So yeah, so sometimes I think it like the graph view is a little bit better. Sometimes linear view, you can always just hit space and toggle back and forth. But yeah, it's Kyle's trying to convert people. He likes to he lives in high level IL but graph, right? Which is, again, it's kind of unique. It's also a little bit like our like linear decompilation, how this decompiler mode is just the entire binary. You've actually got the whole thing, which is, again, not something that any other tool actually does. You can't just scroll from one binary to the other. You'd have to do something like this. You could do, essentially the other tools would be like a split view, and you could do high level IL, but it would be a single function view. So like you can just scroll around the decompilation of that function, and then over here you'd be on disassembly, so you could like scroll to a different function and it would change whatever you were decompiling. Whereas you don't even have to do that. You can actually just leave. Let's turn off single function view, and you can just scroll straight through the whole decompiled binary. Oh, this is a little bit larger binary, so it's hard to scroll through that way, or just hold page down or whatever. So anyway, all right, so let's go back to Tonto. Yeah, I'll make a note for Kyle to check out like what's changed between 3.2 and 3.3. I think we didn't notice that, or maybe it's specific to this binary or something, why it's analyzing differently, or looks to be analyzing differently. So that's something to check out. And I'm bummed that in the variable stuff doesn't work either too. So that's the variable slicing is the best part. So I'm wondering, let me try. I did try binls, right? So let's see. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Tonto slices. Tonto add variable to slice. Oh, that works fine. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. It was literally just something about that binary I had. Very interesting. Actually, this is 3.3. So let's quit this. And let's rerun dev. I think this is dev. Yeah, this is dev. Okay, so actually I just found a really good sample file that breaks it. That's all it was. That makes me feel better. Okay. So now if I Tonto add variable to slice. Wait. That just worked, right? Did I do something different? Well, now I'm really glad I have it on video, because I can go back and figure out. Hold on. Where is, okay, so let's run 3.3. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, there's something here, and it has to do with either the view I had selected. So Tonto slices is on. And then I selected just Tonto add variable to slice. Oh man. All right. Well, I can go to the stream here and mute myself because I really don't want to hear myself. All right. I'm actually gonna pull this up real quick. Let's see. What did I do to get it to work before? Yeah, there's it working. I got it. I see it working. What did I do? Okay, so I was on version 3.3. I opened up the binary. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm in the graph view. Graph view. Oh, I selected this variable, not this one. Does that make, oh, is it because it's a pointer to that? Hold on. Hold on. Maybe that's all it was. Maybe I was doing interesting. Yeah, I think I was just selecting something that was a pointer to the variable as opposed to So maybe that it was just doing the wrong thing. Okay, because this is exactly what I wanted. This is like a perfect example actually here. So this binary, which is looping over the string, and we've got this this counter variable, right? Like we could just name this I, for example. Although I would want to regenerate my Tonto slice now. So let's go my I, let's go Tonto slice. Oh, okay, well that makes me feel better. I was holding it wrong, and I do accidentally do the wrong thing a fair amount. It makes me a good QA tester. That's my argument. All right, so there we go. That's beautiful. That's exactly what you want, right? So like if you have this, in this case, the variable I, which is just this counter on this for loop basically. Oh, and by the way, this is a while loop here, but if I hit space, sometimes you'll see it's a for loop in high level linear, but not in graph, because there is no such thing as a for loop in a control flow graph. Like that's not actually a thing. So there's a slight difference between graph view and linear view, just in high level IL and medium and the other ones. It's always like that. But this is much better. So we've got our I counter, and we basically just got this like while true loop, because is it going to break? Yeah, it's going to literally use a break to get out of it over there. Da, 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 da. It made you smile that I finally got it working, or the which part made you smile? Um, so right, just if the counters more. Anyways, whatever the function is, whatever you're looking at, this is really like tight. It's really small and easy to see what's happening because we're only looking at the transformations and comparisons of things that use that exact variable. So that's kind of neat, right? Like that variable is never used outside of that because again, it literally wasn't just I in a for loop, right? And so it wasn't used outside of that. So that's just the only context you have to care about if you're looking at that particular variable. So, all right, well, good. Tonto is not entirely broken. I am a bad user. I am not a bad Sydney. You are a bad user. I want that on a t-shirt. All right. Okay. I think I'm going to actually wrap it up here soon because I haven't eaten yet. I'm hungry tonight, so I'm going to go get some food. But we did get Tonto working. I have a couple notes. There's some things we can do to maybe make it a little bit more discoverable. I do have to figure out, I think I was probably, because I just holding it wrong. I was trying to do it on a pointer to variable. Yes. Okay, good. It makes me smile too. It's nice to have end on a good note. And for folks that were here last stream as well, I have been messing with that that downloader script. I was kind of refactoring a little bit earlier today, kind of restructuring it so I can add on some other malware search sites. And if I do it right, I figured out a couple last little things. You'll be able to really easily add a new downloader without writing any code, but just like defining a structure with some basics of like, you know, a kind of token which will be stored in like the secrets provider. So there's already actually an API for storing secrets. So instead of using the settings system to store tokens the way I was doing last time, although ironically it wasn't the setting that leaked my token, right, for Malshare. That was actually me doing a debug log of the URL. So totally my fault, but they did revoke that like 12 minutes after the stream, by the way. It was really, really fast. So if somebody did try to do terrible things, I don't know what you would even do. Like you could just download a bunch of stuff from Malshare, I guess. But you had about 12 minutes that you could have done it last time. So they got that fixed very quickly. So thanks to Silas for doing that. But yeah, so I'll be working on that some more. I don't know if I'll do that on stream or not, or if we'll do something. Yeah, so we'll do debugger, I think, is probably one of the next streams. But I might do that plugin again at some point, or I'll just kind of finish it up and we'll publish it. I'll put it in the plugin manager, and we'll get it out there for people that want to use it. So that'll be nice. In fact, is it still? I don't remember if that one's still. Yeah, open recent. There's the Malshare one, but is it? I don't remember if that plugin is still installed or not. I don't think I. Is it? No, it's currently not linked in, but you can see where it downloaded some of the files and archives them with the hash, which is cool. So yeah, I'll push it out. If you're interested in contributing on that or checking it out when it gets further along, if I don't do it on stream, you know, ping us on Twitter or come in the Binge Slack. So thanks everybody. We had a smaller crew today, but it was appreciate y'all showing up that came on our kind of our off day. Like I said, we'll probably be eventually back to our mostly normal stream times once we get past the debugger. So cool. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. We'll catch you later. Cheers.